Alex Hormozi gained 1.2 million followers in 6 months, and since he last said that 8 months ago, he has doubled his audience size again. And now he has given away almost all of the secrets to how him, Layla and Caleb and the rest of the crew at Mozi Media create his content, except they've left out one thing, and that is how to practically set up a team and a workflow that achieves this result. So in this video series, I'm going to be going over how I envision they create this content. I've searched the internet and I've watched many interviews of Alex and Layla and Caleb talking about this content production flow that they have. They haven't specifically said exactly what they do, although I've combined that with my knowledge and my experience in content production to figure out how they do what they do. Now this is going to be a very long video series, and in this video specifically, we're going to be talking mainly about their team and the roles in which everyone has to play. Let's get into it. 1.2 million followers in 6 months. How did they actually do it? So here we are, 300,000 subscribers on YouTube, 7,000 on LinkedIn, 350,000 followers on TikTok. You get my point, right? It is incredibly impressive how they did it. Now to do so, there are quite a few skills required here. Now either you have these skills already yourself, or you're willing to learn these skills, or you have to hire someone else to complete a lot of these skills. But regardless, there's going to be a lot of learning involved, and it's going to be a very long process, because what we see is Alex and Layla talking and being able to communicate their ideas incredibly concisely and clearly. We understand what they're talking about, but there is a lifetime of experience before that that they have had teaching people in gym launch and just in business in general. So in regards to what you need to learn, you can see the top one up here. The first skill you need to create this content is copywriting. So what is copywriting? It is writing. That is literally what it is. And all of this content here starts from writing. Whether you are writing titles, writing scripts, writing descriptions, captions, everything starts with the writing. Your ability to write compelling hooks to attract someone's attention and to maintain attention and then give value, all of this starts with writing. And Alex has famously talked about it before, that one of his favorite social media platforms is Twitter. So he starts writing a lot of content and putting it out there to test the market and see what's happening. And then when he gets good feedback, he takes that information and then he starts making other content from it. Next, we got speaking ability. Like I just said, both him and Layla have an incredible ability to convey their ideas online. It's incredibly easy to understand what they're saying, and they have this ability to transfer this high-level business insight into just easy to digest information. And it's incredibly beautiful to see. The next skill that you're going to need is content strategy. So I'll zoom in here actually. You're going to need to be able to strategize here. You need to be able to plan, you need to be able to have a goal and then set all of the different tasks required to achieve that goal, which is strategy, right? And then you need to do audience research. You need to figure out who your ideal clients are, what they like, what they need, what their pain points are. You need to know a lot of stuff here. There's also stuff like trend identification and market understanding, but there's a lot to go here. Next is video editing. So a lot of this, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, there's a lot of editing involved here. Now you can outsource this to other people on Fiverr or Upwork, or you could do it yourself. It can be as simple or as easy as you want it to be. Their specific style of video editing does take a lot of time, and it has been incredibly impactful because we've seen their trends going through all of social media, and specifically the Alex Hormozi captions that everyone talks about. It's very easy to see that when you are at the top, you need to keep on innovating because people are just going to keep on changing and adapting to what you're doing. So video editing is another skill that you need to have. Social media manager. So you need to be able to know each platform, what is happening on each platform, and how to talk to people on each platform because it's different. Whether you're on LinkedIn, YouTube or Tinder, you have a different perspective and a different mindset on each of those different platforms, right? So you need to be able to talk to people in a slightly different way depending on where you see them online. Next. So, just a reminder here that Alex spends apparently 7% of his time on content. So that is not that much in comparison to the amount of value that he is getting from posting all of this content. There is going to be a trade-off here. So if you're just starting out, and you're going to have to pick one of these things. Either you put in a lot of time or you put in a lot of money. That is essentially what it is. Alex and Layla have a lot of money, so they're putting in that to reduce the amount of time. But if you don't have a lot of money to invest in a team, this is going to take you some time. Now at the end of this video series, I am going to give you a workflow that I have written that achieves 80% of the value at 20% of the effort. So it's really just figuring out what is the highest return on investment activities that you can be doing in content, and then just focusing on those only. And then the rest, just ignore it, just keep on going and doing those high leverage activities and do your best. Next, so this is what this video is talking about. What does their production team look like? Now I had to watch interviews all around the internet to try and figure this one out, and I've also helped and ran content workflows in the past. So I've combined all of that knowledge together and I've tried to figure out how best they would structure their team. Of course, I'm not part of their team, so I don't actually know 100% sure, but this is how I envision it to be. So currently, Alex was in a talk a couple of months ago, and he said that they're spending $40,000 per month for Alex and $40,000 a month for Layla. So this is a very high ticket operation that they have going on here. And a lot of that is just due to the fact with the amount of people and the amount of labor that is required to create this amount of content. Alex said that they have a Twitter editor, a YouTube editor, a LinkedIn editor, a podcast editor. I'm getting tired saying editor so many times, but they still have a team this big. An IG Reels and a TikTok editor. Now, how does this actually look? I'll bring us over here. Here is their production team. So at the top we have the clients. So this is Alex and Layla. They are the clients and they are also the talent of the videos. They are the people that you see online everywhere else. Now at the top level we have strategy and management. Now strategy and management has two people. One is Caleb. Caleb is the creative director. Caleb, you're a wizard. You're doing an amazing job. Caleb worked with Gary Vee and a couple of other people in the past, and now he is working with Alex and Layla, and he's doing an amazing job. Because what they have done is they have hired one wizard, and he is now managing the entire creative process for them. Because this is something that they do for 7% of the time. They have whole other businesses to run, and so they have found one person who knows exactly what they need to do and is guiding them in the right direction. Now, part of that is this, strategists and consultants. So I have listened to them talk about this in the past, and you can also see this on Alex's YouTube page. He has consulting calls with Grant Cardone, for example. So there are people in the industry that know a lot about each different platform. So of course, Caleb knows a lot about marketing strategy. Alex and Layla as well. I'm sure they're all working together here. At the same time as that, they are also getting strategy advice outside of this from experts in each different platform. And that is how you get the best results, just by getting as much knowledge into your workflow as possible. The next thing is production. So I've split this up into two parts here, production at the top and then creatives down the bottom. Now, just removing some things here, we'll delete these notes. I don't know for sure if this is how they actually have their content team. I've heard Caleb talk about it in the past, and I've researched it quite a lot on the internet. Although this could be different. I believe that there is a content manager, a videographer, who is Quinn, we know that for sure, and a social media manager. Although the content manager and the social media manager, they could be the same person. Although just with the amount of content that they're putting out, that it would be wise to have multiple people up here managing everything. And of course, I've put these three up here, but it's probably more flat and people are all working together just trying to, you know, figure it out and get it done. I think that's a very important distinction to make. But essentially we have a content manager, and just talking about the roles here while we're here, Caleb's job is to make sure overall strategy, overall branding, making sure that everything is functionally working together. I believe that he's, yeah, technically a creative director, but he's also like a chief of operations officer for the marketing department. He's making sure that all of the content is produced on time and that everything is going according to plan. So he's very involved with every stage of the workflow. I am very sure about that one. Content manager. The content manager's role is to go in detail. For example, to make a single video, there are many different assets that are required to create that video. It's not just a video. There might be multiple different video files. There might be audio files that are separate to that. The video editors need to know what style to edit in. Maybe there's many different pieces involved in making all of this content, and they're making so much content on so many platforms that the content manager's role is just to make sure that everyone's got their stuff, things are going on track. That's what they do. The videographer Quinn. So Quinn has been hired around 11 months ago, I believe. I was watching an interview about them today, and he is helping Caleb film Alex and Layla. So a lot of this content they are filming in person. Quinn could be traveling with Alex and Layla, doing behind the scenes, sit down talking head style videos. I'm sure he's doing lighting and audio and everything. So Quinn and Caleb, they work together quite a lot. I'm very sure about that, to produce the assets that the content manager and maybe a social media manager take to the next level. So social media manager, why did I put this here as well? These two roles might be combined, and they are quite similar as well in some regards. Social media manager can handle things like the schedule, the posting, making sure that all of the different pieces are in the correct place at the end. And yeah, just they could do community management, you know, deleting horribly negative comments, stuff like this. But that's how I would imagine this to be. Now underneath this we have the creatives. So as I said before, there's two. So we got Alex and Layla. So all of this content here has been produced for both people. So here it is. Now we got the content manager, videographer, and social media manager. Just starting on the left here, there are a couple of copywriters. So if you want to make this amount of content like Alex and Layla, there are things like titles, descriptions, captions, hashtags maybe, things on LinkedIn. I know Alex does his Twitter. There are many different pieces of writing that need to be written, or what they might be doing is taking transcripts from YouTube videos, for example, and then creating copy from that. Although they have, I'm sure they have a couple of copywriters. If we go over here, you know, they got a LinkedIn editor, that's a video editor, that's an audio editor. So they definitely have at least one copywriter, maybe two. They might not even be part of the core team, although they would be vendors or third-party people from, you know, other agencies that come in to help out. Now there is most likely a designer, someone who creates the thumbnails for all of the videos on YouTube. There's probably another one because just again, the amount of content that they're putting out, it's upwards of like 120 pieces per week, I believe, on all platforms. So having a couple of designers there will help. Now, the people who Quinn, the videographer, works with, most likely, obviously he's got a long-form video editor, probably two, because there is Layla and Alex Hormozi. I'm saying it many times again, but there's a lot of content going out there. Now, those long-form video editors, those videos are also being put elsewhere, so that is good to note. But there are also short-form video editors. Now, short-form video editors, in my experience, if you want them to do a very, very good job, it's around 2 videos per day. They can go up to 4 videos per day, but if you're doing this day in and day out, yes, I have edited 16 videos in a day. It wasn't good for my mental health, but we got it done. So they are probably 2 of them because they're putting out so much content across all the platforms. So that is what they are doing here. They're just editing videos all day, every day. They're taking videos, adding subtitles, adding or captions. They're adding emojis, sound effects, sound design. They're doing a lot. So they're working with Quinn, the videographer. So the videographer creates the videos along with Caleb, and then it comes down and they deliver the video content down to the video editors here. Once the video editors are done, it starts flowing back. And I'm sure someone like Caleb is doing content revisions. I think they're most likely using frame.io to review the content. That's what I use, and that's what I suggest everyone uses. If you're not using frame.io, I don't know what you're doing. But moving on. Now, what they're doing is actually a content multiplication process, and it's a type of workflow that Gary Vee made famous. And essentially what they're doing is just taking an example here, and I'll talk about it more in another video. Let's say Alex has made a tweet. He talks about this a lot, but he makes a tweet, and one of those tweets does really well. Then he takes that tweet and he turns it into a YouTube video. So that means that he gives this tweet to Caleb. Caleb and Quinn record him talking about that tweet in a structure that hooks, maintains, and gives value. And then they deliver that video content down to the video editors. Once the video is edited, they're sending it back for revisions, and once it's approved and published by the social media manager, they send it away. And then the fun begins, because they can take this video and they can amplify it to another different platform. A good example of that is long form video. So you can see many long talks from Alex and Layla and Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, all of these other big people online. They film a talk of them speaking their knowledge for an hour long. And in that process, you can then go back and find different sections of that video to make small little clips from. And you put them onto social media to make, reels and TikToks and stuff like that. You can also take the audio straight from those talks and you can convert them into podcasts. And podcasts need to be edited, and there's different things involved in there. And then you can take the audio, you can convert it to text, and you can convert the text and refilm it and put it into audio. And you can do almost a circle in where you get one idea and you multiply it as many times as possible. Because if an idea has been tested, Alex has already seen on his Twitter that he's posted 20 videos, 20 tweets, and then one of them has popped off, then that idea is tested and it works. So why not make the most of that one piece of knowledge? So yeah, a couple of podcast editors, because it's not as simple as taking audio and slapping it onto your podcasts. Yes, you can do that, and I do that, and it works completely fine. They do have mid-roll ads periodically throughout the podcasts. So as you can see here, there is a lot going on, and I don't know if this is for sure how their production team looks like or structured. This is how I imagine it to be. These could be more flat, things could be mixed around. There could be more other external vendors coming in here to help. But essentially what is important to note is that to create this amount of value, to grow this amount of audience, it takes a team. It takes a very large team to create this, and that is what this whole point was, because I couldn't find any information online about this, to be honest. I pieced it together from different interviews, different videos, different blog posts that I've seen. I went through Alex Hormozi's content strategy that he put out in his recent education series, but I couldn't find anywhere in which they actually talk about the production and how they actually achieved it to the level that I was interested in. So that's it for today. In the next couple of videos, I'm going to be talking a bit more about their content creation models and how they actually achieve that, And then I'm just going to be going down and then keep on going down their workflow until we have a clear understanding of how Alex and Layla and Caleb produce this amount of content. So see you in the next video and all the best. Peace.